I'm now going to hand over to myself because we're going to introduce a little video about 30 years of the National Equine Forum. So, hello to me.
I'm Tim Brigstock, Chairman of the National Equine Forum since 2012. I well recall the chat that I had with the late Richard Matson, then Vice Chairman of the Forum, asking me to take over as Chair from Sir Colin. I was amazed and flattered and consider the NEF as a really good example of how an annual event can develop to discuss common issues and opportunities across the sector. The aims and objectives established by Arthur George, Colin Spedding and Graham Suggett are as relevant today as they were 30 years ago. Putting the forum together, however, each year is a collective effort. So I'd like to thank all members of the organising committee, both past and present, for their considerable help in ensuring that we have relevant topics to discuss and debate. We're also very fortunate in having the ongoing support and interest of our President, Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal. Finally, the real power behind the throne is the administrator who actually makes it all happen. Graham, in the early days of the forum, was called convener, and you'll shortly be hearing from both him and his successor, Miles Williamson-Noble. But we owe a continuing huge debt of gratitude to Georgina Crossman. George, who since 2014 has made it all happen and makes the NEF as relevant today as it was 30 years ago.
Thank you for inviting me to say a few words of congratulations on our birthday and give a brief account of the forum's early years. In 1991, Arthur George, who was Secretary of the Welsh Agricultural Society, invited myself and Colin Spedding to meet with him in the Welsh Pavilion at the Royal Show. His concern was that the equine industry, or horse world as it was then called, was uncoordinated. Why he chose Colin and me, I do not know, but it worked out well as Colin and I clicked, and we subsequently worked well together for many, many years. As a result of that meeting, in 1992, we organised an open seminar at the National Farmers Union headquarters in London to discuss ways in which the horse and pony industry could speak with one voice when that was needed and appropriate. The outcome of that debate was a proposal to establish a National Equine Coordinating Council. We started work on this idea only to founder over the issue of funding. Whilst being disappointed, those of us who had been members of the small organising committee believed that the concept of an annual no commitment forum with invited speakers should be maintained, as it had such a good reception. Thus was born the National Equine Forum. The Association of British Riding Schools funded the administration, with Pauline Harris and Arthur George as joint secretaries, to be later succeeded by Gordon Wesley. As the size of the operation grew, I was appointed as the unpaid voluntary coordinator, and the administrative costs were funded by Warwickshire College, with Pippa Francis acting as secretary. Attendance at the forum was free in the initial years, but restricted to 2 people from any one organisation. Lunch was kindly provided by Dodson and Horrell Limited. As we had no income, my role was to persuade speakers to address the forum free of charge. We never had a refusal, and only one person ever asked for travel expenses. The Royal Veterinary College was our host venue at no cost before we moved to the more accessible and comfortable Royal Society, again at no charge. Though in doing so, we lost the advantage of having a tiered auditorium. Following each forum, the delegates received a written report of the proceedings, how things have moved on to embrace technology, and the presentations can now be viewed on a dedicated YouTube channel. As I'm no longer able physically to attend the forum, this and the live streaming has been invaluable to me and to countless others. Of particular value was the contribution every year from the government minister responsible for the horse, enabling delegates to hear new announcements firsthand from the minister, and were also able to put questions directly to him. We were also honoured with the presence of Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal on many occasions, at each of which she expressed her forceful view on current topics. I was delighted when in 2009, Her Royal Highness accepted an invitation to become our president. The committee only existed to organise each forum, not to follow up whatever may emerge at the meeting. Where such follow-up action was needed, the committee tried to identify an existing body as the appropriate channel. Examples of such initiatives which had their first public airing at the National Equine Forum include the British Grooms Association, which was founded after an impassioned speech by Lucy Catan about the plight of grooms. And also the National Equine Database was first aired at the National Equine Forum. In conclusion, I repeat that our intention was that the National Equine Forum should not be a threat to any other body, and we would not to seek to usurp their function. The forum existed purely to provide opportunities that could be taken up when participants wanted or needed them. And I'm delighted that these principles are still being upheld today. I send my best wishes to you all for yet another successful forum and continuation of this prestigious event for many, many more years to come. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Miles Williamson-Noble, and I took over from Graham as national organiser before in subsequent years I handed over to George, your organiser today. Graham mentioned the forum starting with Sir Colin Spedding, and he filled that post superbly for many years. I think for 21 years, in fact. But towards the end was becoming less physically fit, although I have to say he was still as sharp as anything and had this wonderful, personable manner where he was able to engage from people with all sorts of backgrounds. Anyway, I visited Sir Colin at his house to talk about possibly having a handover of chairmanship. It was a meeting I wasn't particularly looking forward to, but he was very gracious. Well, he was once he got over the fact he thought that I was bidding for the job, which was not at all the case. But anyway, he proposed and the organising committee agreed that Tim Brigstock was an ideal person to take that on. And as you know, he has been doing this for a few years now and does do an excellent job. One little thing that came out while I was at Sir Colin's house was to find some of his many other interests, and one of which was the work he'd done in looking in and trying to preserve stag beetles in the country. And that produced benefits when we came to the time of looking for the Sir Colin Spedding Award, which, as any of you who've seen it being awarded will have seen the sculpture of a stag beetle. Graham mentioned how grateful we've been for Her Royal Highness's involvement throughout. And for many years, she was a supporter, but had no official role with the forum. At Sir Colin's suggestion, we invited her to become the president. And this was a conscious decision to be a president, not a patron, as we very much wanted her active involvement. And this she has continued to provide, attending committee meetings as well as the actual forum, and her input is greatly valued. Enough from me now. I would just like to wish you a very successful forum. And as Graham has said, many years going forward, it does, in my opinion, serve an invaluable purpose of bringing everybody together. And George as organizer, Tim as chairman, and Her Royal Highness as president, supported by the committee, I think do a wonderful job, for which I would like to thank them. Thank you and enjoy the day.
I am so pleased that I have been able to be part of the history of the National Equine Forum, having joined the organising committee close to its very start in 1992, and being fortunate to work with so many great colleagues over the years. And over this time, I've been able to listen to numerous fascinating and relevant reports, presentations, and discussions, as well as, of course, the Chinese proverbs of Sir Colin. However, I am delighted to be part of the current NEF committee, which is chaired brilliantly by Tim Brigstock and excellently supported by our fellow director, Georgina Crossman. But perhaps most importantly, I am excited to be part of the future of the National Equine Forum. So what does the future of the NEF look like? Importantly, the organising committee want to ensure that the NEF fulfills its objectives and primarily continues to provide an opportunity for the whole equine industry to come together to discuss topics of key interest and importance. In doing so, the NEF will remain as a catalyst for positive change and development. This means that the NEF will continue to encourage open, honest, and respectful debate and help to promote inclusion, diversity, and equity within the industry. Our plan is to keep as the central hub our annual face-to-face meeting, but to continue to use available technologies to encourage participation and awareness, including live streaming of events, webinars and podcasts where relevant. We welcome ideas from everyone involved as to how the NEF can best support a vibrant, inclusive equine industry.